Hey there, Board Game Brody here with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table. Like Cascadia here, Rolling Hills, the Roll and Write game by AEG and Flat Out Games. This is a Roll and Write Cascadia game with the same animals, just using them a little bit differently than the base game Cascadia. So let's get right into this. Each player starts with 2 of their own personal dice. Each dice is a little bit different, so each player should make sure to have 1 of each. Then each player will take a tally sheet, a habitat sheet that matches everyone else's, a player aid card, and something to write with. There are 4 different sheets that you could use, and you will decide as a group which one that you will use. 4 large dice are placed in the center of the play area. Everyone will be using these dice after a player rolls them each turn. The habitat cards are separated based on their tier levels and then shuffled. 5 cards of each tier is discarded randomly from the game, which will leave 10 cards for each tier, and that will make 20 cards. The tier 1 cards are then placed on top of the tier 2 cards that will form a draw pile. Then the first card is flipped over to the right of the draw pile, so it's face up. Completion cards are reshuffled and 4 are revealed and placed out from left to right. Blue cards are placed above where cards will come across, and brown cards will be placed underneath where the cards come across. The game is played over 20 rounds consisting of rolling dice, collecting wildlife, and optionally completing a habitat card. Each round a player will roll 4 central dice. It doesn't matter who does this, so take turns. And then everyone else will roll their 2 personal dice, or everyone will. Based on those results, players will use their dice plus the 4 big shared dice to choose 1 single wildlife type and take the animal shown on those dice to place on their tally sheet. There is 1 special die that might give additional opportunities to take more, animals or multiple types of animals in a single way, whatever it might let you do. So you can take the dice actions to manipulate the results of the dice roll before you collect your animals. Some animals are harder to get and others are easier. This equation makes bears the most valuable, followed by elk, fox, hawks, and then salmon. You could spend 1 nature token to down convert all dice faces of 1 type to the wildlife type directly below it to gain more of a certain type. And you could spend 2 nature tokens to up convert 1 type wildlife type rolled to a type directly above it. Or you can spend 3 nature tokens to collect all of the animals of 2 types rather than just a single wildlife type as normal. The special die can add in a variety of different actions, which is very welcoming for a game like this. And ultimately, these results can change how you gain your animals. Whatever your choice is, you will update your tally sheet with the new number of animal type that you chose. Then you can optionally complete one of the habitat cards that are face up. You will pay the cost of all the animals listed on that card to receive the benefits and or points at the bottom of that card. Some cards have discounts from cards placed above it. You can choose to use the discount if you so choose. You will pay animals updating your tally sheet and taking the bonus nature tokens if listed on the bottom of that card, or any other bonuses listed if there is a card underneath the card as well. You will update your environment sheet, marking the number shown on the hexagon on that card to the matching terrain type of the hexagon on your sheet. Sometimes this will also trigger a bonus from filling in so many of the hexagons. Multiple players can complete the same card, and the card will stay out there that it can be completed again and again as it moves from space to space until it is moved off the board. And that's exactly what you will do when all the players are done. You will slide all cards down like a conveyor belt, and the last one will move off. And there is a maximum of 4 cards available at a time. After 20 turns, the game ends, and players will add up their score according to their habitat sheet, and the player with the most points wins the game. As you learn the game, you can play harder levels with different habitat sheets that have some different rules to go along with it. So this first sheet here, you write on the number of points from the card onto the hexagon, matching its type, and after you score 2 of the same terrain types, you gain a point and a bonus from the bottom of that sheet. And when completing a row, 1 of each terrain type, you gain 3 points and 1 animal of any type. The next level, you will outline the number of hexagons equal to the number shown on the hexagon on your card that you scored. And at the end, you will score points for how far your outline, row to score the points listed above. This row is used whenever you spill over from any of the other types. And then you gain bonuses from outlining landmarks starting from the top and going down when scoring the same type. Sheet C is still all about outlining hexagons and number of times shown on the card you score, but you will almost have territories to gain different things like points and bonuses. You start with the star hexagons, and then you can cross the hexagons off from any adjacent to the ones that you have outlines already. There is also an overflow area at the bottom if you continue to gain a type where there's no more on the sheet. And if you outline or circle in any landmark spaces, you will gain the bonuses from those. The last sheet is the most complex. It adds in filling in hexagons with letters according to what wildlife you used to complete that card. You will add the number of animals equal to the number on the completed card, also on the same terrain type. And you will gain bonuses when filling in adjacent hexagons. And when completing a region, you will earn its points and bonuses associated with that region. If you complete a region with all the same animal type, you can gain bonus points as well. And you can gain landmark bonuses on this map in addition to some others. And that's Cascadia Rolling Hills here by AEG and Flat Out Games. This is a fun, more thinky roll and write game, more complex than I anticipated it really being, and ultimately that's a good thing. I was able to play it with my kids, but it was hard for them to understand how to use the nature tokens to up or down convert to get more of a certain animal type for, that turn. And then ultimately you are trying to get the different terrains to gain the bonuses on the habitat sheets, which is the 2 vertical to get, the small bonuses, but in the rows to get the 3-point bonuses. With this habitat sheet, the first one, it's less complex. You can't fulfill more than 4 hexes of a specific terrain, and the kids kind of had a hard time seeing that through as well. Ultimately, you need to have a plan in this game. You're trying to complete a card each turn if you can, and if you don't have enough of the animals, sometimes you just want to have, the most of whatever you can get, but other times you might need a specific animal to be able to fulfill one of the cards. Then you want to time out your bonuses as well so that you get the most out of those. Sometimes these will give you animals that you need or ways to gain animals. If all else fails, look for the cards under the blue cards if there are any out there, and see if you can fulfill the cards with the less requirements to be able to do that. There are several options usually, but there will also be times where you really need certain animals and maybe your roll just doesn't pan out the way that you want. When this happens, you can up or down convert. That can be important. Paying 3 nature tokens to be able to take 2 animal types, that's an option as well. Fulfilling a bonus to gain a certain animal that you need is also an option. And there might be times where you just can't fulfill a card requirement that turn. And you just have to, set up for the next turn and be able to fulfill a card requirement again after you take advantage of bonuses that you want or need. Then going back to kind of the design, I like the 4 shared dice and then the 2 personal dice. I like the special die. It, gives different options that isn't shown or isn't available every round, or, the dice with 2 options to help you get what you really want. I like how you can continue to fulfill the same card after it slides over, but then you don't really want to do that every time because you need, a good variety of different terrains to do the best on the habitat sheet. So you want, different stuff going there. There's a lot to think about, and you will find yourself thinking a lot in this game as there are a lot of options, and you're going to try to figure out which one is the best. And this sheet, sheet A, the less complex sheet, did require more thinking of your cards and animals. And then as you level up to other sheets, you will find yourself sometimes analyzing too much. So sometimes you just need to, make a choice and go as you, make more complex games with those sheets. But this is a great game. It's different than the Cascadia base game, with the only things maybe being similar is the art and the animal types and using hexagons. There is the other Cascadia Roll and Write game. It's very similar to this one. Same rules, same animals, just a little bit different as far as the distribution of some of the rules here and there. The dice are a little bit different and bonuses change here and there. So when knowing one, it's easy to really pick up the other. Again, this is Brody with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table. Like Cascadia Rolling Hills, the Roll and Write. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are working hard to bring to you videos like this one, so you know if these games here are ones that you want to get to your own table.